Yes, and this is how. By the way, this is like a 10-year minimum journey for me, as far as can I actually have an intellectual debate with somebody who survived 10 stabbings and went over to Iraq. And
Mm-hmm.
can I go tell that person, like, hey, what you're teaching isn't logical,
Mm-hmm.
right? And by way of, my journey, I'm at that point where I'm like, hey, man, logic trumps all. And
Yeah.
I know that there's embellishment going on here, and I know that there's some lies being thrown in. And so I can begin to systematically attack your logical weak points and
Mm-hmm.
present my strengths to it without you having to go, well, Paulo, you've never been to Iraq, or you haven't been, stabbed under these XYZ conditions. And I'm like, yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about your ability to impart skills to these students. Yeah, thanks. Peace. In a way that will, increase the probability of it serving them. So fucking logic, man. Logic
Mm-hmm.
trumps everything. Period.
And I totally agree with that. The other part I'm going to add to it is it's particular to the specific sphere of whom you're talking to, because talked about the 80%, the common guy, the guy who eats pizza, does this casually. That may be the same guy who or gal who spent a deployment overseas in a combat zone, but they were a line infantryman. They were combat support. They have seen some action, but
Trust me.
a
Yeah.
knife was never involved. And I'm going to put that again. A knife was never involved for that 80%. Versus some like the top tier special operations community, a knife in a lot of cases has definitely been involved, and
Right.
the probability and opportunity for a knife to be involved is definitely higher. So the impetus of that particular training set is specific to them. So matching the data that you're presenting to the sphere of people you're trying to talk to is also
Right.
an important thing.
So check this out. I'm sorry. This
Yep.
is the best I can do right now. Okay. Let's say a dude tells you a story about how he was in Afghanistan clearing a
Uh-huh.
room. He had his primary up. He rounds a corner, right? Some dude pins his primary here, and his option happens to be that at that moment in time, he grabs the knife, which was conveniently located in an area where he can access, and then he kills that guy. Okay. Amazing.
Uh-huh.
Heroic. What does that have to do with knife defense in a civilian context? What what
Exactly.
what what can that experience? How can that experience help this woman who is at your seminar, who may have to defend against a knife in a bathroom or a Walmart parking lot, or against some deranged lover?
Yeah.
And it's not to diminish the accomplishment nor the heroism of that moment,
Uh-huh.
but I have to say those are two different things. And what you
Context
learn from
matters.
that experience, yeah, and what you learn from that experience can't be passed on
No.
to students. I
That and also like the context of whom you're teaching to. So, because we got Brandy in here, and I got to meet her and her entire beautiful family at Water and Steel this last year.
Mhm.
But she brought up this comment about similar to being able to use the skill in the moment, and this is the uncomfortable thing that I had to learn, and a lot of other instructors need to learn, is the context of who are you teaching to. So, from a male perspective, teaching self-defense, personal protection, weapons-based to a woman within the physical context of their structure compared to a male aggressor, we don't have those experiences because we're men. So, being able to translate the physical capability, such in the case of using wrestling as a platform, there is a
Mhm.
physical capability deficit in intensity that some women, some I'll say, will not be able to pull off because of the lack of
Right.
physical context. So, that is something that we also have to be cognizant. Just like the same of utilizing your primary platform for personal protection and self-defense is your plate carrier, particular to that context. That doesn't work for, say, Miss Brandy here in her average day wearing yoga pants going to the store. She's not wearing a plate carrier.
I think us men, we like to rest on the conclusions of things that are temporary. So what I mean to say by that is we pressure test a concept and we're like, okay, that concept works. Instead of going, what made that concept work and what can be modified or removed from what amounted to a successful defense that would result in something completely different. Like, what if the person I was pressure testing with was bigger, right? You know, what if it's snowing outside? What if I'm dealing with, you know, a divorce or, you know, some emotional trauma that day? What if I'm tired? What if I didn't sleep well the night before? So we kind of like to rest on, you know, the outcomes of prior experiences as some sort of a guarantee of a repeated outcome. And this is what I say about knife defense. It's impossible, man. Too many variables. You can't recreate these variables to any degree of really reliability, right? So I'm constantly like examining, like, fuck, what's cool. I did it. And it's easy to manufacture, eh, guys? As a content creator, I got to tell you something, right?
Yeah.
It's very easy to manufacture on video something failing and something succeeding.